Hi, I'm Jo, and I've got a great day ahead of me. I'm really excited to be joined by Marcus from Dobbies Garden Centres. I love my gardening with a passion, but frankly, at the moment, I really need some inspiration. I need some education. I just need someone to come and give me some advice on what to do in my garden, and that is why I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what Marcus has in store for me for the day ahead. Marcus!
Hi.
Oh my God, I'm so pleased to see you. I need some inspiration.
Really
I need a
pleased to be
plan.
here.
What are we going to do?
We've got lots that we can do. So we're going to look at new plants that we can put in, we can add some more colour, and we can really get the garden sorted.
Amazing. It's just what I want.
Let's go and do it. Amazing smoke bush, Jo.
Oh,
Looking
I love
really, really good,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's taken a lot of pruning to get it into that shape.
Yeah.
And it's thriving. This year it's done incredibly well, but there's lots of other stuff that hasn't done well at all.
Yeah, it's been a real challenge, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, the summer was challenging with the drought, and the temperatures. It's been really hard.
Been really scorching, and that's a really good indicator for me. So the smoke bush, because it's doing so well, so when I see a border, you see a plant doing so well like that, then actually when we're looking at other new plants to go into the border, that's a real indicator that we should be looking in those sort of species that are really going to complement it, because if that's doing well, then that's going to be much easier than trying something else that then is going to struggle.
So colour, because I love having colour, and there's not a lot of colour towards the end of the summer. That's when I always really struggle. So if you've got some ideas of what I can put in.
Yeah, we've got a selection of things here. So this is a smoke bush, so similar to the one that you have here, but a dwarf variety with the purple leaves. So it's got the colour right the way through the season. It intensifies as it goes into the autumn. It's not going to get too big. So it could go up against this smoke bush that's here, but you've got that lovely contrast there of the green and the purple.
I love the colour of this. Positioning is always a challenge for me as well in the border, because plants that you think are going to be great at the front suddenly grow into giants and they just dwarf everything else.
Yeah. So that's a good one. We've also got on this side another one that we're going to reference. So this is the Verbena bonariensis, which is such a fantastic plant. Does really well for this time of year, that summer colour that you're looking for. This is really, really great.
It's like luminous, isn't it? It just kind of shines and pops out of the border.
Absolutely glows. And in the evenings, it almost intensifies as it glows out of the border. Now, the difficulty with them is that they're so tall, but they're great to add the accent. But this is another verbena. So this one's called rigida. So this is much smaller. It's been flowering for a long period of time. Bonariensis starts sort of midsummer, this starts earlier, and it's really good at the front of the border. So this you could really add into your border here. It's going to stand the drought, no problem at all, and really bring that colour right the way through, but lower down into the border. So that's another recommendation.
So for the repetition.
Yes.
Repetition's really important, isn't it? Because
Absolutely.
I'm so guilty of just putting it all in one area, but actually you want it to flow.
Yeah. Getting those colours going from high to low, and then meandering through a border is so important. So it draws your eye through. So getting the colour going front to back as well. So you've got high, low, and front to back, because it draws your eye into the back of the border.
You make it sound so easy.
Then astilbes. So got a couple here. These are just amazing. Now, looking at your border here, it goes all the way down to a stream at the bottom. Now it's quite a dry stream at the moment, but it's still got more moisture in there over the summer months than at this top of the border. So things like astilbes are fantastic in damp soils. They will tolerate a little bit of dryness at times, but they do need that regular watering. So anybody that lives by, who's got a pond or wants to do a little bit of a nature garden, so they're putting a little bit of a pond in, these look fantastic.
I would never normally go for astilbes. I just thought I didn't like them. But then you brought this here, and it's beautiful because the colour of the leaf and the stem is gorgeous. Yeah,
that combination of the colours is really, really good. We've also got beautiful white plumes on this one as well, creamy white plumes, which is so good. And in this sort of location, then they're really going to thicken out. You'll get a really good coverage. Again, planting in groups is so key as well. It's always difficult to know how big to make the groups, but generally minimum of 3. So always planting things in 3s or 5s. Doing a group of 3 and then another group of 2, which then can link through the border, is also another tip as well.
So there's quite a lot still to be done, but thank you for the inspiration. I've got another border which I'm struggling with, so can I take you there?
Go. Yeah, that'd be great.
So this is another area of the garden. I put in as many plants as I possibly can, and still there are bare patches. So what can I do to make this better?
Well, we're going to again get some clues really from the plants that are doing really well here. So the hydrangea paniculata here, which is doing really well. So we've got other varieties of those here, which are lots of different varieties coming out now, so lots of different shapes and sizes, so a really good one. Also, I see you've got alliums which you've had in the border, which must have looked fantastic when they were flowering.
Yeah.
But a lot of the alliums all finish at that sort of late May, early June period, and then you get these lovely seed heads which look really, really good. But there is another variety here which is later flowering, so produces is shorter, produces lots and lots of flowers. So you could introduce that into the borders. That would give you a more continuity then of flower.
Yeah, the late summer I've always found it a real challenge, especially because I like pinks and blues and purples, those kind of colours, and as you get to late summer I just never know what to put in at all.
Yeah, no, it is a bit of a challenge. I think one of the things that, looking out really for trying to maintain as much colour later into the summer is also improving the soil. So the more that you can get the soil to retain moisture, then it gives it a much better chance for things to be longer flowering. As soon as we get into these periods where the soil dries out, then the flowering just finishes really, really quickly. And that would mean that things like clematis or roses, etc., they all struggle to do that reflowering. So if you do a lot of pruning, even on hardy geraniums and things like that, then they will reflower.
So it's important that the soil is nice, because I do that. I cut them all back and I wait for them to come, but then they're always really small, like the flowers that come through. Yeah, and that's the soil.
That's the soil really struggling to hold that moisture around the roots, so that the plant can actually take up the feed and then give it another push. So if we can get the soil improved, so looking at your soil, I've got a clod here. It's a bit tough.
Imagine how hard that is to.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's backbreaking stuff. And every time I'm trying to get into it.
Yeah, you could make lovely pots out of this.
Yeah.
So you can see that you have put organic matter into here.
Yeah.
So the darker veins that are running through it. So there's been some good work already put in, but you just keep on going. So really, a couple of times a year, putting mulching material on. You don't need to dig it in. So it's just constant mulching. So just get rid of that. So this is a product called Bloomin' Amazing, which is all plant material.
I love the name.
It's been used to create power. So it's used in a process which gives off gas, and therefore they use that for power. And then this is what's left, and it's a wonderful material. I've used it a lot. It actually deters slugs as well, which is really, really good.
Yeah.
And also it will feed the soil as well. So a lot of mulching materials like bark and things like that actually don't do the soil any good.
They just sit on top.
Yeah, and they can actually, as they break down, they can take nitrogen out of the soil, whereas this will improve the soil. So a good layer of that around all the plants this time of year will encourage worms and things to take it down into the soil, and you just leave the little bugs and things to do it naturally. And yeah, you'll see a big improvement, which will help then to continue the summer flowering that you're looking for.
You mentioned slugs. I've got some. I've got a hosta that I love it when it first comes out, and then I just know it's going to be slug food.
Yeah.
Any ideas?
Well, of course, we're all going away from using any nasty pesticides. The really bad one that used to be used, that's now been banned, so that's good. But we've got this product here called No Slugs. So this is a powder material which is a sort of rock base, and you scatter that around, and that deters the slugs and snails from going anywhere near the plants, and that's been really successful.
He thinks it's food. You won't want to eat this.
No, you won't want that. It's not very tasty. So yeah, we'd always go for the more safer options, using a barrier. So we've got various sort of different types of barriers which you can put round. Great on the top of pots. Putting hostas into pots is great. I put all my hostas in pots at home because it's just, I'm fighting a losing battle with slugs in my garden. So
put that around the base of it, or all the leaves.
No, it goes around the base of the soil, and it will. They just won't cross the barrier, so they won't go in to actually start to feed. So that's a good tip. Then finally, just on the for planting. So if we're actually going to be starting to get some of these plants into the border, then this is our new John Innes peat-free compost. So there wasn't such a thing as a peat-free John Innes until recently. We've developed a whole range. This is the mature plant one. So there are 3 different grades. There's number 1, number 2, and number 3. This is for mature plants.
Yep.
And this is soil-based. So if you see it,
give me a handful.
It's
wow.
So it's really very reminiscent of your soil, but it's been mixed with organic matter, and and it's a very traditional recipe. It's been going since the 1930s, and that is a really good planting media because the plants are grown in ideal compost on the nursery. Then to get used to this soil can be a bit of a challenge. So
you use this when you're planting something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it really gives you that buffer around the plant. The plants will grow into this really well, and then they can then venture off into your heavy soil.
I know it's heavy, you don't have to make me feel bad about it.
But now when you've got the mulch in there, it's all going to get better.
It's all going to be doable. Okay, fine. And you're promising to come and lend me a hand. Thank you very much.
Certainly, I'll be here.
But you're going to have to bring a team with you. It's not just we can't do it alone. Sorry, does that go back in there?
So, so hopefully that gives you some tips.
Yeah.
We're then going to, I've got some ideas for your front front door over there.
My entrance.
So we're going to have a look.
All right. Oh my gosh, wow. I love it.
A bit of a transformation.
Yeah. Wow, I love it. I love the colour combination. Tell what have you done? Why?
So you had these fantastic pots here which look amazing, but we just wanted to show what you could do if you just added a bit more to it to make it a bit more impact. So these pots that you have are really, really good, but we just wanted something that would come in to match with them. So these fibre clay pots, they're RHS branded, really, really good quality, and also keeping to the round. So sometimes people do squares and rounds and it will all look a bit messy, so we kept it to the round.
So that's a no-no. Okay, I didn't know that. But I like the patterns, the contrasting patterns on them.
Yeah, you can mix up the patterns, but just keep the colours similar. And then really looking at the planting. So bay trees, really good for all year round, evergreen, really, really hardy. Will tolerate, of course, even hot and droughty type weather because they're used to being in the Mediterranean. So very suited for that. Of course, you've got bay leaves that you could be using in your cooking or on the barbecue or whatever. But they'll be able to grow up a little bit taller and you'll give a really nice sort of backdrop all year round. Then introducing these agapanthus into the planting as well. They do really well in your garden anyway. We've seen them in a couple of different locations.
And these, I haven't seen them before. They're amazing.
Yeah, the colour combination. So when they're in bud and you've just got this little, the splash of colour around the base, and then as they open up, they really explode. It's a wonderful variety called Fireworks, so it's a real, really spectacular plant. And that's going to be flowering for a long time because you've got lots of new fresh flower buds coming through here. It's also got the John Innes in this compost. So for plants that are in here for a long period of time, then you've always got to have that John Innes compost because it's got the soil in there, which means that they'll look after the plants for a long time. Okay. If it's bedding plants, it's fine. You can use a non-John Innes blend, but always use John Innes when you're planting things like this.
Okay. So a grand entrance now. That's exactly what I've got. Thank you. It was a bit feeble before, but no, it's beautiful now. We've already had visitors. We've had bees buzzing in and out here while we've been talking, which is just the best. Yeah. Thank you. That's wonderful. Right. It's been so nice to have you here. Thank you for the inspiration. And I've got tons of work to do. That's great. You start on Monday. Is that right?
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks very much.
Thank you. What an amazing day. I've learned so much in terms of things about the soil, about soil improvement, about mulching, about slugs, the right way to do things for the environment, which is obviously very important to me and to all of us. And then also just planting in terms of what to put in the borders, in terms of height and what's going to suit the season as we go through, because, sometimes I just struggle to have colour. And Marcus has been brilliant today in helping me with that. And then how to make a grand entrance. I've loved the way that the entrance to my house is now radically changed. It looks very beautiful. So it's been the best day. I've had such a great time and I'm very grateful to Marcus.